All right, it's time for another edition of your favorite tennis gambling show. It's Betting Weekly Tennis Live, all on the Bet Rivers Network. 2025 U.S. Open is into the second round. It's Mitch Michaels alongside Tim Dennis, expert handicapper. We're on the Bet Rivers Network. Download the app. Make sure you subscribe to our social channels at Because We Win on the X account, on Instagram, and on YouTube. And as a reminder, you download that app and you make bets during the U.S. Open. Anytime you log in, whether it's remotely or desktop, get that 50% profit boost up to 50%. So it's the best value going around from the best sportsbook going around. Mitch Michaels here alongside Tim Dennis. Tim, sir, how's it going? And how have you been enjoying the U.S. Open so far?
Hey, Mitch, it's good to see you. Not sure, I've been a while since I've been called sir by anybody, but yeah, thanks for that. Just starting to get into the thick of things now with this US Open. We've got loads of games going on. Djokovic on court at the moment. Seen some a good effort from Rybakina already today, and yeah, it's heating up on both sides of the women's and the men's side of the draw now, and it's so really starting to get into it.
It's been great. The women's side especially has been phenomenal. Right now, though, only one women's match hasn't even really started yet. So it's all men right now. The women's matches will take the court. We've had some players like Rybakina rush to get inside, get to the clubhouse, as they say, with a quick win to get to the third round. But we got Eala and Bucsa about to start. So that's the lone women's match that's going to be on the docket right now. Bonzi Jerome about to start. The big story, as you mentioned, Novak Djokovic is down a set. It's 3-2 in set two. Zachary Svajda, who was a prize junior, I think he won Kalamazoo, the U18 tournament, twice. So he was a prize junior, has been grinding a while, playing his best tennis, wins the first set in a tiebreak, 3-2 on serve. Svajda serving. Right now, the money line is minus 360 Novak Djokovic, plus 230 Zachary Svajda. And looking at some other things right now, in set two, it's Djokovic minus 375. Over under set two games is 10.5 plus 112 if you like the over. So Tim, just starting with that match, it stopped us in our tracks, but 24-time major champion, still in a position of power. Do you think this value is accurately depicted? And do you like anything in the live line here?
I think, yeah, those odds probably sum it up fairly well. I think no breaks of serve so far. I think Djokovic had a chance in the very first game of the match, maybe a little bit of nerves there from Svajda early on, but yeah, settled into it and then clearly took that first set and yeah, all on serve so far. So I just played an excellent chop shot there. He knows the game to try and unsettle Djokovic here. So I don't know what the total games market is. That might make some interesting reading because you can imagine Djokovic is you'd think he would be the first to break serve here. He looks probably the more of the two, I would say, going forward. So just I'd keep a quiet eye on that game line. I'll just have to check it out unless you have it there, Mitch.
Well, I'll take a look. But one of the things I was saying too was, Djokovic playing during the day, heat and the sun, maybe not his enemy. It doesn't seem like it's too bad of conditions, 74, 75 or so. The humidity will kick up, but, not his normal night session. So maybe that helps Svajda first on Novak. But the rust factor is big. I mean, he was teetering in that first set a while, even before the tiebreak. I think it was 30-all 5-4 game where he had to serve his way out of trouble. So he just doesn't look quite as sharp. But we've seen this before. We saw it at Wimbledon with Cavalli, right? As he's up to 15-30 now, is that he can work his way into these matches. So it's going to be hard to find value on Djokovic unless he's like 2 sets down and maybe even 2 sets in a break. But this kid's playing tough, and you'd expect it to only get tougher as the match and as the tournament progresses for Novak.
Yeah, I think just have a quick look. So the games line 5.5 is plus 110 for Svajda there. Mm-hmm. That might look a little bit of value because even if, I suppose if Djokovic does break here, he could take a three-game swing straight away here with Zachary taking the first set. So a tough one with the totals at 44.5 probably looks about right to me at the minute.
Yeah, and what we saw in the Cavalli match is a template more accomplished player right now than Svajda, but Djokovic won the second set, hard fought, ran away with the third. The fourth was a little competitive too. So it's something to monitor in that one. Maybe the match I'm most intrigued by right now, Joao Fonseca taking on Tomas Machac. Machac again, looking healthy, looking better, and Fonseca with a big win over Kekmanovic in straight sets in round one. So these two players, a lot of potential in Fonseca. Obviously, Machac is no slouch. It's 3-all, 15-all at this moment on Fonseca's serve. He's minus 139. Machac is plus 104. What do you expect in this one, Tim? Should it be a long day at the office?
Yeah, potentially. This could be a little bit similar to the game we just spoke about with Djokovic there, with lots of few and far between the breaks of serve. But I thought Fonseca was a bit of value there, perhaps maybe just sneaking in favourite there, -112. I think he was just before. He's serving at 15 all there. I thought he's clearly going to have the thick end of the support here.
Mm-hmm.
I think from the back of the court, I think he's probably going to have a few more answers than Machac. And Machac can run a little bit hot now and again. So I'd be fancying Fonseca to come through this one. And I thought that -112, I think it was about -104 pre-match. I think that's probably still fair, especially with him serving here. I'd be looking to get with Fonseca there in some way.
Yeah, Machac is someone that's been able to play these and win these long matches. So not someone you expect to fade, but we know Fonseca has the crowd. The Brazilians show out en masse to support him. Djokovic secures the break, so that money line is switched all the way up to -770. He's up 4-2 in the second set. We got Fritz.
Just going back to that Machac, Mitch, do you remember, I think, the game they played in the, what was the team tournament at the start of the year?
United Cup, yeah.
When he played Fritz, do you remember? I think he pretty much he quit, I think, didn't he? He did say he was slightly injured, but it looked to me like he quit that game. And I've struggled with Machac ever since then. And he's a tough one to trust for me. And his season pretty much since then has been disappointing.
Yeah, especially how last year was promising. He kind of burst onto the scene. We do have a few matches that are deep. I mean, Casper Ruud just starting out. Lehechka is about to win the third set over Echeverry. He'll be a huge money line favorite going into the fourth. But Nakashima, Jerome, Kim into set 3, tied 1-1. Just went final. Kim winning the second one. Little shocking there. Nakashima still a -177 favorite, but Kim scoring a dominant tiebreaker in the second and leveling that match up.
Yeah, just before we came on the show here, I checked on the Instagram page, and Sean Calvert is out there, and he's I think he's courtside for this game, and he saw Nakashima. He pretty much said he stole the first set on the stats there. He said Kim was far the better player, so he said don't rule him out of this match, and that's proved to be correct so far, with Kim coming back in the and taking that second set tiebreak. And again, another sort of serve dominant Nakashima. We know probably not the best right on return, and Kim having a good serve +1 there for sure. And I think we saw one of the comments earlier in the box about, I think one of the guys was on, Mark Mint was on Kim +4.5. So he's probably looking pretty happy with life at the minute there.
Yeah, I don't know too much about him. I've heard of him, but I haven't really watched Jerome Kim play. But that's good intel by Sean Calvert there. If he stole the set, if Nakashima stole set 1, that means Kim is right in this match. Like, now that it's all coming back to me, Tim, 6'6" Swiss guy. I do remember him being a large, pretty powerful player. So,
probably someone who is going to cause Nakashima trouble without that great return game. So this is probably, you wouldn't be surprised if this third set goes tiebreaker as well.
Yeah, Nakashima is one of those players that I feel like he finds himself in long matches, whether he's a favorite or an underdog. Like, he can play up to the competition and challenge players, maybe not win the match, but when he's the favorite, I don't know that he always covers these spreads, or some of his matches go under. So that's one to watch for sure. How do we feel about the lone women's match? Eala's got a break point right now. She came in as a pretty solid favorite, almost 2-1 against Cristina Bucsa, who is a doubles player, hasn't really had the singles success, but is a known veteran, known commodity. How do we feel about the number on Eala? And you know that her fan base is going to be rabid in one of these outer courts. I think it's like court 7 right now.
Yeah, I'd probably quite like looking blind now. I'm just going to have a look at the game line, because I fancy it in Eala. She had a real marathon there. And she has struggled with a few niggling injuries earlier on in this season. I saw her shoulder was quite taped the other day. And Bucsa is a tricky player to play against. She will play every ball. She will not quit. And I see she has a break point here earlier, and she can see if she can take that. I'm just going to see the game line is 21.5. I would probably be leaning over there. Bucsa has actually broke first game of the set there. Yeah. So I think Eala could be in for a bit of a long afternoon's work here to come through. We see it time and time again, don't we? When you have a massive win, and then you sort of come back down to earth a little bit in the game after that. So I think Bucsa could make her work pretty hard here.
I think some of these numbers are juiced a lot of times, not just because Eala is a popular player, but I have a tough time when a player is valued that highly when their serve isn't as reliable. And we saw it in Towson. You know, she got broke a bunch in that match. I think if you like Eala, and I still would, favor her to win. Even now, she's -130, Tim. Here's an opportunity, right? You wait till she gets break, till the serve falters a little bit. You can jump on live, and you just created some value. So mean, that's part of it too. You can even talk to this as well. Like third sets of some of these matches or fourth and fifth sets for the men, there's a ton of opportunities for the live line to get yourself a better number.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we spoke of it before. I've seen a few men's matches this week already. You have a guy who wins the first 2 sets, then he'll lose sets 3 and 4, and then all of a sudden the momentum is with the guy who's won the past 2 sets. But I don't know the exact numbers of it, but the amount of times the guy who's lost those previous 2 sets then comes and puts it all in for the fifth. Jerome is one I can think of.
That was Nigel. Nigel said it on one of the shows as his history, in studying the numbers, being around much, because he's much older than me. Okay, but he said that history, the numbers say that you're more likely. It's close. It's not lopsided, but the player that won the first 2 and lost the next 2 wins the match more likely. And I think absolutely. It's just that we're just conditioned to think the other way.
Yeah, I mean, you look at like Medvedev took that 4 sets 6-love, and then all the momentum is with him. Obviously, what happened in the crowd, that is all with him. Everything's in his favor, but Bonzi manages to reset, take that final set. The same with Jerome. I think he won the first set 6-love, took the second as well. Then Navone come back and nick sets 3 and 4, and then he resets and takes the fifth. So yeah, I think if you've got a guy who is heading into that fifth set, who is an underdog, who's won the first 2, and it looks like momentum is against him, don't be afraid to go with it. Go against the momentum.
Match is starting, but do you think there's any risk, because he's down triple break point, that Casper Ruud's on upset watch today? I know it's early, but U.S. Open finalist also hasn't had the best results on surfaces outside of clay. So is this an upset watch?
I would be surprised personally, because I thought Ruud might just be sort of showing a little bit. If he gets broken here, that could look a bit suspect. But I mean, he should really be winning this, shouldn't he? He should have good memories here. I know he lost a final here to Alcaraz, but you'd like to think he's still got positive memories of making that final and trying to rediscover something. You could probably put him in a similar boat. I don't think he's quite as drastic as Tsitsipas, is he?
No.
But he's probably a little bit disappointing in his career. He's probably going down rather than up, and I'd like to think he could get through this game comfortably.
Yeah,
he's down 3 points still.
I think it's safe to say maybe he's hit some career miles, like he overachieved, and that's just a testament to what he was able to do. Yeah. I also think, and great for Tsitsipas winning. Ruud's always struck me as maybe more professional as some players. Like I think he can find a way to win matches and grind out victories, but it's fair. He's been banged up. He hasn't been playing well. We'll see. Down a break, still plenty of time, but we'll see what happens. We're going to look on at some.
You're right. Eala broke straight back there, Mitch. You're spot on there.
Probably not the last break in this set. Maybe not even the last break before we go to the changeover.
Unless we sort of big serve. So yeah, that could be topsy-turvy. Or if you can get a break number for over 6.5, or perhaps that'd be looking to go over there for sure.
So let's look at some matches later today. We'll pop back into the live line in just a second here, Betting Weekly Tennis Live. Also want to remind everyone on the Because We Win and on the Bet Rivers Network. Like if you look at other shows, Tuesday was just a generationally good day. Everyone was a winner. Savor that, because it's going to keep you in the plus. But you had a lot of great people do a lot of great things in soccer, or football as it's called across the pond. Will White was 4-0 or 5-0 on his picks. Nigel in tennis was 4-0 yesterday, and Sarah Sivian on Fast Break with the show with Doug Kazarian, the basketball show, 6-0. So we're under a lot of pressure, Tim, is what I'm trying to say. We got to just keep the winners.
We've got to find a few winners, and then luckily I think we cashed our double last week, so we'll see if we can do that again.
We did. That was a good show. I was going to say last week's show we did was pretty good across the board. We were dishing out some real winners last week. So
yeah, we need to start backing ourselves up a bit here, Mitch. We can't just shout everyone else. We need to do it ourselves.
No, we do. Well, let's start with a favorite that you like, and we'll have a daily double. I'm pretty sure this is one leg of it, but a favorite you like on the women's side, a real contender, Elena Rybakina taking on Tereza Valentova, who won her first match over Bronzetti at the U.S. Open. She's a very demonstrative player. She's very exciting to watch, but she's facing a buzzsaw in Elena Rybakina. There's the line you see, -360 for Rybakina. The game spread 4.5. The over-under is 20.5 total games. More of the same with Rybakina, Tim, in a spot where she doesn't typically lose. Do you like her to just handle her rather easily?
Yeah, I do here. Yeah, I'll move sort of straight in with the bet and then give a bit of reasoning behind it. I was quite surprised. So the bet I thought is Rybakina minus 4.5 games at minus 120. I was certainly expecting 5.5 there, so I was quite surprised to see the 4.5. Obviously, Valentova, she's had 3 straight set wins in qualifying before coming through Bronzetti here in round 1 in 3 sets. And I think at 18 years of age, she will be the second teenager Rybakina has faced after beating 16-year-old Julieta Perecha here in round 1, 6-3, 6-love. And I think Rybakina faced a similar sort of player in the Australian Open here in Eva Jovic, who she beat another teenager 6-3, 6-love by the same scoreline actually in Australia earlier in the year. And I watched a bit of Perecha's match against Bronzetti there in her first round, and Valentova, in her first round, and she's a little bit like Jovic and a little bit like Perecha. She hits the ball flat and solid, and I think that's going to be sort of music to Rybakina's ears, because I was a bit surprised with the way Perecha played Rybakina in a couple of days ago. I thought she missed a trick there without taking. She should have took a bit of pace off the ball, perhaps. That's, to me, from what that's where the arrows seem to flow from her racket when she has to generate her own pace. I think if there's someone down the other end of the court trying to go to wall with her on those baseline rallies, and this sort of timing and skills, and I think that's going to be right up her street. And like I said, looking at that first match against Bronzetti, that's exactly what it was. It was baseline. It was pace on the ball, low over the net, and I think this is really going to suit Rybakina here today. So I think I said to you before, I was even on the money line. I mean, I'm not into backing sort of minus 357 shots. 357 shots, sorry, but I thought she'd be near a sort of minus 700 on the money line. I was quite surprised, and again a little bit surprised to see the 4.5 handicap there at minus 120. I thought that was good value. So we're going to string a couple of legs in a double today, but that's certainly going to be one of them.
It is very, very impressive what Valentova has done to get to this point as a teenager, but I think I can boldly say she hasn't faced a serve like this. She hasn't faced a weapon like this. So that's part of what we're looking at too. So I agree with you. I'd also say if you're liking to really get in on this match, maybe even that first set under, because there is an adjustment period to what happens when you face someone like Rybakina for the first time. So that'd be another one I would look at, maybe first set under games, total games in that. But yeah, I think you're dead on with that one. I did want to, look at one of the matches that I'm really curious about on the women's side. And that's Grand Slam champion, Wimbledon champion, Marketa Vondrousova taking on McCartney Kessler. There you see the board right there, plus 148 for the American, Vondrousova minus 180. The spread, the over-under, some set bets as well. Tim, I'm also going to say one thing. I mean, Kessler has been proven to fight, has been proven to battle. I don't quite know Vondrousova's form, where she is. I know she's proven to be tricky and a tough customer. I really like the over in this one. I'm looking at maybe a Kessler bet on a set or maybe even to win outright, but I just feel like this is a long match. Kessler is not really one to wilt away even in matches she lost. So I'm targeting the over in this play if you have any thoughts.
Yeah, so I certainly couldn't put you off. Obviously, they played at Wimbledon early this year, where Kessler took it a little bit to find her feet. She got fairly sort of well beaten in that first set, but a very sort of competitive second set tiebreak. Only just coming unstuck in that. Where if she could have took that, she might just have had Vondrousova on the ropes there. So I think I'd be looking to get with Kessler some way, like you say, whether it be sort of on the game handicap or perhaps just to win a set. I mean, yeah, she's plus 150 to win the match. So I probably wouldn't put you off that. But again, if I was probably going one way, I'd be leaning towards overs like you. I think, that's
a great comment too, D. Johnson. Maybe you go over her total games. I'm just going to take a look at that right now on Bet Rivers because to win a set, it's pretty juiced at minus 167. But if you look at her games line, I'll try to pull that up while we chat. I think that could be maybe something to monitor because I just and on grass is a big situation too, Tim, right? Like Vondrousova's won Wimbledon, she's comfortable there. I think tennis is a unique sport, right? Surfaces matter. So as dominant maybe as she looked, especially in set one, I don't know that we see the same match when they play in this one.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, especially on this sort of, like you say, obviously probably a slightly slicker court. I think I completely agree. Getting in there with Kessler some way is probably the way to look at this match. And even if you don't want to go with that, probably over games, it kind of screams that to me, because I think both are going to have their moments in a game like this. And certainly Kessler, I'll be looking to get with her somehow.
Well, the other match you wanted to look at, looking at
just a quick. Svajda has a medical timeout here, just as we're speaking. He looks like he have maybe a little bit of a problem with it just above his left knee, but yeah, he's just having a timeout there.
Lost the second set. We're about to go to set 3. That's the other Djokovic, even out of form, even with his issues, Tim, right? Like, he wears you down. You have to play so physical to take a game, take a set, that by the time you get to set 3 and 4, these players have nothing left. We saw it years ago with Jensen Brooksby when he first came out. Holger Rune was another one. Like, you give so much to be in the fight with him that by the end you're just tired down. So
it says a lot for Djokovic, doesn't it? At his age, that's the shape and physical condition he's in. He's probably in better physical shape than most of his competitors, I imagine, bar a few. But
I still marvel at that stat. He's the oldest in the top 20, 9 years older than number 2.
Scary, isn't it?
Yeah. It is. Lehechka up a break in set 4, looking to ride it out up to 1-3 all. Nakashima Kim, Machac Fonseca 5-all. So we were on the air last Monday, and Fonseca was going to some tie breaks with Kekmanovic. So he's no stranger there. Lloyd Harris and Fritz taking off with Fritz up 2-1. Harris serving 30-all, and Ruud still done a break in his match. Eala, Bucsa just getting going there. Let's look at another match you like on the men's side, a tricky one. Two players that have been up and been down and been gamers and slams. Jordan Thompson taking on Adrian Mannarino. It's the Aussie versus the Frenchman. Mannarino is a -186 favorite with Thompson at +155. There you see the spread, 3.5 games, the over-under at 38.5. I'll be honest, Tim. I mean, you're a little more bold than me, because both of these guys have shown greatness, and they've also shown that there's some variance there. So Thompson comes in a sizable underdog. Mannarino at -186, the favorite. How do you see this match shaping out? What's the play here?
Yeah, well, they've played 10 times, and Mannarino leads that head-to-head 6-4. The most recent one, he beat him comfortably in Cincinnati 6-2, 6-2. Now, maybe a small caveat to that is that was Thompson sort of on the way back there, finding his feet, having only played a few matches since Wimbledon. But yeah, since Wimbledon, Mannarino's been excellent. I think he's won 17 of the 22 matches he's played at all levels. I think even taking Sinner to a fairly close tiebreak in one of those matches. And on the hard courts, he's held serve 84% of the time, and he's actually broken serve a fairly commendable 31% of the time. And 13 of those 17 wins have come in straight sets. Thompson's had his injury concerns. We saw that at Wimbledon. And like I said, this is only his third match since playing Wimbledon. He had a pretty good victory against Mute there in his first round. But yeah, I like getting with Mannarino here some way. I think that -3.5 games, it was -110 when I looked earlier. I think it's just a little bit short of that, -114, but I still think that's fair. I think with the form Mannarino's in, I think that the sort of the time of day they're going to be playing should sort of suit Mannarino, probably the heat, warm of the day. And he just looks in full of confidence. And I suppose the only slight doubt is whether Thompson's going to complete the match if Mannarino is comfortable. But we thought that a couple of times at Wimbledon, where it looked like he'd retire, and he was still going. So yeah, I'm happy to get with Mannarino, just the form he's in and the confidence he seems to be playing with.
I also think too, like, Mannarino's the book on him, wearing players down, not giving them pace, figuring a way to be crafty. We saw it last year in Australia against Ben Shelton, 2024. I don't know if that's going to work necessarily against Thompson. The seesaw of their matches is one thing. I also think Thompson's not going to give in to some of the ways Mannarino wins, like long rallies, staying on the baseline. Thompson likes to come to the net. He likes to approach. So I could see that too. I also think we could see kind of a weird match where it could be a long drawn out match, 4 or 5 sets, but I also think maybe the under is a play. Maybe you have a weird, wonky, quick set. So yeah, look, I'll also say, Tim, I would probably have favored where the value is necessarily on the player. And I think there's tremendous value on Thompson at that number.
Yeah, I mean, potentially. I mean, it is a little bit of a seesaw match, this one, as we can tell, with that head-to-head being fairly close there, 6-4 in slight favour of Mannarino. I think a lot of those games will actually be played on grass, and I think on the hard courts, Mannarino probably does just edge it. So yeah, I think I want to get with Mannarino some way, and I thought the best way for me was on that sort of just -3.5 on the handicap. So I mean, whether it's a 3 sets to 1, or I mean, you might just sneak if it went 3-2, depending on how the set scores go. But yeah, I want to be with Mannarino somehow. Just the confidence he seems to be playing with at the moment. I think he's the more solid of the two for me.
They just played in Cincy. Mannarino tuned them up 6-2, 6-2. But before that, they played the fall of last year in Paris, and it was Thompson 7-5, 7-6. So it's been an interesting rivalry. I mean, there hasn't really been a lot of win streaks back and forth. It's like, so maybe that's good it's time for the step back for Thompson. So that's another one as well. We'll look at that as we'll finalize the daily double with that too in just a few. But Casper, Ruud now down as we look ahead at this. Fritz and Harris 2-all with Fritz serving. Machac is about to force that tie break. And
lots of tie breaks so far today.
What's what?
Lots of tie breaks so far. I think obviously Nakashima's played one. Djokovic has had one.
Yeah.
Maybe one in this Fonseca match here.
Yeah, I think Nakashima might have another one in store the way that's going. And Marcos Jerome jumps out to a 3-1 lead over Benjamin Bonzi. So Jerome seizing the opportunity in that one. Other matches on the day, and we've got some thoughts and comments, and people are reaching out. It's good to see, but just want to see if there's any other matches that stand out. You have Pegula Blinkova. There were some notes too. How do we feel about Barbora Krejcikova being such a huge favorite over Uchijima, -625? I think we have a comment too. Players asking us, people asking us if we like Uchijima on the game spread, +5.5 at -118. It's a pretty big number, Tim.
Yeah, although it's not Dustin Johnson, the live player there. He's not tuning in watching the show.
No, maybe he is. I don't know. Maybe he is.
It could be Uchijima over 7.5 total games. Yeah, I wouldn't put you off that at all, because I think Krejcikova, she pretty much got a bye in the last round, didn't she? She was clearly injured with that wrist and Boko.
Yeah.
I did wonder watching that match if this wasn't the US Open, would she have even took the court? Because it was clearly an issue and clearly bothering her. And I saw Krejcikova play in Cincinnati, and I saw her play against Eva Jovic, who any other player she probably wouldn't have beaten. Probably give Jovic another year or two of age and a little bit more experience, and she would have beaten her there. And she was pretty much rank awful against Paolini. So yeah, I certainly wouldn't put you off that Uchijima over 7.5 total games. I thought she'd give you a run for your money for sure there, and I thought she was very short on the money line. I'd agree with you there with what you say.
The other match I can't wait for is Taylor Townsend taking on Ostapenko. I had some comments in the chat, thought on Taylor in this match, who is the favorite, -132. And look, if you do the eyeball test, Tim, take away the accolades, take away the history, I understand why. Townsend's been playing well. #1 doubles player in the world, has had some big singles results to go along with that. -132. Ostapenko is +108. That game over under is 22.5, so that's the bigger number we were expecting. But do you like Townsend as the favorite here? Ostapenko's an agent of chaos, but on her best day, we know she can beat anyone.
Yeah, I think there's been quite good support for Townsend. I think she was a little bit bigger than that when prices opened up here, and you can see why. She dismantled Ostapenko in Toronto last year. I think 6-2, 6-1, and Ostapenko didn't look to have to do too much to beat Zhi Wang the other day. And I thought, obviously, Townsend's going to come here with plenty of support, that confidence of winning that. She'll know she beat her there in Toronto last year. And Ostapenko, yeah, I'd be looking to get with Townsend here. I thought she was a little bit short. I'd probably want nearer to sort of even money there if I was going to be getting a bet on. I thought minus money was then maybe a little bit short, but I thought she'd win that match.
Yeah, it's weird too, right? I'm with you. I'd be backing Townsend for sure. I don't think Ostapenko likes the way she plays. Just a lot of.
Maybe if you can just if Ostapenko serves first and holds a serve, you might get sort of maybe just a fraction short of minus money there. I'd be looking to get with Townsend for certain.
Yeah, and you can also explain to this too, like the fact that this game spreads 1.5. People are going to be like, oh, why wouldn't you just take Townsend there? There is clearly a path where Townsend wins this match, but that ends up being like a 1, or even, with how she serves and tie breaks come into effect. So I could see a scenario where Townsend wins, but if you're the game spread, you're left with a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'd want to back either of those players on the handicap games there, because we've seen Ostapenko just rip through set 6-1, and we've seen her get ripped through 6-1 many a time. I can't imagine there's many more players who have such one lopsided sets, or certainly 3-set matches as Ostapenko has. So I'd imagine there's many times when someone might have better on the handicap, and she's actually she's lost the match, but she might have covered the handicap. Yeah, it's just she's not on handicap betting.
Yeah, hardest thing to handicap in the tennis betting world is what side of bed did Ostapenko get up on in the morning? So what's the attitude going to be?
Yeah, your guess is as good as mine. I certainly can't tell you, I'm afraid.
No. Other matches today, just looking at the board, Andreeva, Potapova, Mira Andreeva looked great in her. I mean, lost one game against Alicia Parks, -590 against her fellow Russian Anastasia Potapova. That spread is 5.5. Over under is 19.5. Tim, I know she's a long way away from, the ego with the under queen in a lot of these games and just crushing players early, but maybe she's getting there, right? Maybe under 19.5 could be a way to look at this if she's clicking into a higher gear.
Yeah, she's in the same form as she was there against Parks the other night. Yeah, it will be, because she was excellent. Once she did very few errors, hit the ball very cleanly. And I think the biggest thing for everyone to see, which the most positive one, was no issues with ankles or movement. Or she looked as good as she has when she was winning these thousands events earlier in the year. And she's got she beat Potapova at Wimbledon. Potapova won a previous match there in 2022. But Andreeva should be taking this one. And speaking of players that were been impressive so far, I don't know if you saw any of Raducanu earlier.
Yeah.
She probably won as she should have done, but she was faultless, to be fair. Served well. I think 8 aces, no double faults, hit the ball cleanly, and a massive sort of third round match in potentially against Rybakina if she can come through later on this evening.
Anything else on the women's side you're looking at tonight or into tomorrow? I will say that one of the ones that I kind of like, and I'll see what the Bet Rivers number is, but we talked into Ann Lee winning a set tonight against Bencic -124. I think she's been playing some pretty good tennis and a lot of long matches on her end. But anything else you're looking at?
I thought the Sabalenka-Kudermetova game might be quite interesting. They've only met once before, and that was earlier this year in Australia, where this is probably the lesser of the two Kudermetova sisters. But I think she did actually take a set off her in Brisbane, earlier this year, in probably similar sort of conditions. And I think the handicap was, I think it might have even been as much as 7.5 there. I thought that might be a little bit high. Kudermetova is going to come here, pretty much have a free hit. Her sister's already out, so she's doing better. The two sisters already. All the pressure on Sabalenka, and I thought of a free hit. 7.5 games, or probably even over on the totals, which I think was about maybe 17.5, perhaps. I thought I'd probably be looking to go over there. I thought she might with Sabalenka prone to making the odd errors here and there. I thought that probably was a small opening.
Other one I was going to say, did you know, I'm just presenting this, I'll let you react to it, that right now on Bet Rivers, you can get +163 for Donna Vekic to win a set against Coco Gauff tomorrow?
Oh, can you? I hadn't checked out that match yet, but
I may have just swayed the line. Watch everyone come in on it. I hope we didn't.
It'd be -130 by the time we get on, Mitch. Now you said that, but having watched Gauff yesterday, if the same one turns up, then I mean, Vekic will take a set off, won't she? If she doesn't take it off her own merit, Gauff is prone to gifting them away the way she's playing at the moment, isn't she? So we'll have to do a little bit more research into the stats and all that. But +163. As soon as this finishes, you know what I'm doing now, looking into that.
Yeah. I want to see. We'll see tomorrow when the match gets, what the time of day and when more stuff gets added. But if we can get some double fault props, that'd be pretty good.
You tend to only get some of those in the later stages, sort of maybe quarters and semis. But I mean, pick your number with Gauff, isn't it? She's obviously got this biomechanics coach come in, but I think it's going to take a few months before it's sorted out. It's certainly not going to be fixed overnight. And I think as much as anything, it's the heat of the moment as well, isn't it? It's come at sort of big points in the matches, it seems to me, and I suppose no point's a good point to have them, but she's certainly having plenty still, isn't she?
Yeah, certainly does. And looking at our producers Troy and John adding some wins or some money wagers that we've seen, good and bad. Funny, we were talking about this. Someone bet $50,000 on Sinner at minus 10,000 yesterday. So I guess it's like a sure thing. But there's been some good, there's been some bad. Big bet on the money line, over $7,100 on Rybakina, minus 357 on the money line. Andreeva, to our point earlier, $5,000 bet on her minus 1.5 sets against Potapova. So some interesting money coming in on both sides, Tim. I think it's kind of backing up a lot of what we're thinking. Some of the bets are just short matches from the favorites. And we saw with Iga yesterday, that's part of the battle when you get to the later stages, how little amount of time you spend on the court.
Yeah, exactly. I was just thinking watching this sort of Djokovic match, he'll be frustrated as much as anything, because if he does even come through this match, it's about spending extra time on court there, isn't it? And he's still on serve here in the third set. These guys, especially in Djokovic's state, they want to be keeping these time on court down to a minimum. And I think that's what obviously Rybakina, I think she had her fastest ever Grand Slam match in her first round, and then she actually beat that today. So yes, if the less time you can spend on court over a 2-week period, the better it is in the long run.
Did that comment in the chat real? Did that just happen?
I saw Svajda wins here. Look for him.
No, not that one. We're getting reports about Jack Draper.
Okay.
He withdrew. Wow. He is withdrawn.
Has he really?
So there you go.
Wow.
We got the best chat. Beat me looking on my phone on Twitter. So
I think I was watching his serve speed was down the other day. So whether watching his first serve rather than up in the sort of mid 120s, it was sort of in the low 110s, and maybe that's
he did rush back, and we know, no fault, full respect for trying to make it work, like US Open, big time a year. But when everybody was on their break, when it was, whether it was a mental health break or nagging injuries or old age in Djokovic's case, Draper's was the serious one. Like, you start saying arm, elbow, like I had my doubts about A, how well he could do here, but B, Tim, like his availability. And that's a killer. Unfortunate.
Yeah, big blow for him. It'll be interesting to see how serious it is, and how it obviously fairly serious to withdraw. But sort of time-wise, whether he now just thinks, okay, I'll try and get back for Australia, or whether it is more serious than that and he might need something to
just wonder.
Even at his age, you don't want to be. Yeah, you just want to be, and it's certainly not a good sign downfall for him.
So Bergs gets the walkover, and just kind of looking at the I'm going to remember, because our US Open draw show last week really did a number on me. But I'm trying to remember what side of the bracket he's on as I pull that up really quick and just see which players. And then, obviously Bergs gets a nice little advance, but looking at kind of where he is as I pull this up, the 5th seed, he was in the, Gabe Diallo and Munar is the next match, the Musetti section, Kobali, Brooksby. Wow. That is a winnable section. That really is, like, we might have penciled him into, a quarterfinal matchup. Very winnable section now.
Yeah, there's a few there that opened up, obviously, with Keys going out in that first day. And I was actually looking at some of the women's sections yesterday, and there's a few players who I thought, if they don't reach the quarterfinals here, they really need to be sort of a little bit disappointed with themselves, the way the draws have opened up. So, like you say, with Draper withdrawing there, certainly opened the way for, I'd imagine Musetti is probably licking his lips at that now. A good opportunity for him going forward now with that pretty decent victory, and hopefully finding a little bit of form for him after beating Petra Pereira.
Wow, that's a stunner. Musetti looked better. He's someone that, even though it hasn't happened on hard court, you wondered how he was feeling physically going in. Well, we're going to wind this show down. That's some big news as we come out. He's out, and that opens things up. Maybe it just solidifies what we already knew with Sinner and Alcaraz. But always a good reminder, tell people to go to the bettingweeklystudios.com website to subscribe and sign up for the newsletter. It's totally free. It drops on Mondays, the Insider on Fridays, the sweet spot of the sports year, in my opinion, because we got American football coming back, soccer's heating up, tennis has the US Open into the fall, and our insiders and our analysts have a lot of great stuff for you there. So go to bettingweeklystudios.com. Final thoughts on, I guess, men's matches, Tim. Men's matches that we haven't covered yet later today. Alcaraz, a huge favorite, as is Shelton. in the evening slate. And I'll have an eye on Holger Rune at -286 against Jan-Lennard Struff to see if that matches one-way traffic or maybe a little interesting.
Yeah, it could be interesting. I think the guys covered this on their show, and Struff actually has a decent victory over Rune there. I think he dismantled him on the clay there one day, and he looks to, with his big sort of serve +1 power game, he could cause Ruud a few problems there. I know Rune looked fairly average against Van der Sandschulp in his first round from by all accounts, and yeah, a little bit of opening there for Struff. Just before we go, we will just cover those matches that we did there for a daily double we'll put together. So Mannarino -3.5 games against Jordan Thompson was -114, and we probably tied up with Rybakina is -4.5 games at -120. I thought we'd stick those two together for a daily double and see if we can follow on from last week's success, all being well.
Yeah, by my account, you're looking at about +245 range or so, something like that.
Yeah, looks good to me. Yeah, not a massive price, but hopefully we can get those two tied in.
I like that one. I like the play there. Just sometimes go tried and true. Lloyd Harris up a break on Taylor Fritz as we peek one last time back in at the live window. Djokovic up a break in the third as well. And Collignon going set point here against Casper Ruud. So that's one to look at. Fonseca down love 30, still on serve, but Joao in some trouble. And Kim serving for set 3. So a lot going on, a lot of upsets having their day in Flushing Meadows.
Yeah, we thought Nakashima might be vulnerable there when we started the show, didn't we? With a little bit of advice from our co-host Sean Calvert, and he looks spot on at the moment. Serving to take this third set, and if he takes that, he's going to be long minus money. So yeah, looking good for any of those guys who are on Kim there.
Which one? Final question out the door, and again, it's just a thought. Which one of these like longer shot upsets would you say has a better chance of ultimately winning the match?
Of which ones, or just anyone?
Just the live window of some of the players that are in danger. We know there's a lot of tennis, but to actually win, who could you see actually pulling it off?
If in play?
Yeah, in play.
Longer shots. I imagine he's not favorite now. I'm going to go with, looking about +2, 220, 230 Fonseca. I'm going to go with Fonseca getting back into this match.
All right. Okay. Yeah, I'm with you there. I mean, I think there's plenty of time. He's proven he can rally and the crowd gets behind him, as we know. So we'll monitor that as we go forward. This is a great edition of Betting Weekly Tennis Live. We appreciate everybody out there for watching, tuning in, whether it's live or in the rear view. Make sure if you do one thing today, it's you download the Bet Rivers app on your phone so you can get in on the action, make all the bets, get that up to 50% profit boost any day during the U.S. Open. It's the best deal going. And we will be back, obviously, next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, same time, same place, 1 o'clock Eastern. Tim Dennis, always a pleasure. Let's see if we can keep this hot streak going, but fun chatting tennis with you as always.
Yeah, pleasure, Mitch. Thanks, guys.
We're back again Monday, 1 o'clock Eastern, U.S. Open Week 2 for our entire team of outstanding production. This was Betting Weekly Tennis Live. Tim Dennis, Mitch Michaels. Enjoy the tennis. We'll talk to you later.